Welcome to Women Are Rising with your host, Katie Kozlowski. This is the podcast where we come together and we bust the myths. We turn things upside down and we get to the heart of the matter. Women Are Rising is dedicated to bringing truths to the forefront and liberating souls from the inside out. Without further ado, here's Katie K and Women Are Rising. Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Women Are Rising, the podcast that is cultivating a safe space for us to have honest conversations, to share our stories, and to come together in a space where we are allowed to be who we are, what we are, where we are 100% every single day. I am Katie Kozlowski, and I am the creator and leader of this movement. And today, since this is the very first episode and the very first thing that I hope you hear, I wanted to give you a little bit of background around how this came to be and why I created Women Are Rising when I could have done so many things with my life. And it's an important story because I want people to understand and know, you guys, the listeners, that this is an open conversation, that this is something for all of us. This is not about me being the teacher. This is about me opening the space for a classroom, for all of us to share and learn together, because I have been in many spaces now. I have been through all different kinds of experiences in my life. I trained as an actress. I've been a voiceover artist, which means I'm really good at taking direction, right? And getting feedback and listening to what other people have to say, especially about my own work. And I've learned how to be a good listener, because that means that, I am taking direction and I am receiving feedback. And as an actor, you have to be able to listen to your partner or you're not a very good actor, right? I have trained in neurolinguistic programming, which is all about, the patterns that we have within ourselves and limiting beliefs and the subconscious and all of that. I've trained with some of the most incredible spiritual teachers and spiritual beings on this planet. I have studied astrology. I've studied spirituality. I've studied energy healing, Reiki. I've read the Bhagavad Gita. I've, also read things like The Wizard of Oz and been the voice of an animated character on a children's show. I feel like I've been in a lot of different places, and I've really cultivated this massive array of colorful aspects of who I am. And what I found was that even though that's wonderful and I have all these skills, the thing that was missing in the world and in the marketplace and in general in social media, everywhere I looked, was we are so good at talking, and we're so good at, I know I'm talking right now, but I'm not going to be talking forever. And we're so good at that. We're so good at communicating our message, and we're so good at, putting all of this stuff out into the world. But what I found that I didn't like was that it was a very one-sided conversation. And it felt like everybody was saying, well, what I'm saying is this, and what I'm feeling is this, and what I've experienced is this. And that's wonderful, because we learn from our experiences and we grow by sharing and being in the experience, right? And living life. Like that's how we become who we are, by being in life. If we weren't in life, we wouldn't be here. But what I found was there wasn't enough, and I was doing this myself, of well, what's your experience? What's your story? Where does it hurt? Or how did you get hurt? Or how did you overcome your hurt? I felt like it was just a very, it wasn't a universal conversation, and there was no safe space to come together and just share. And I felt that within myself. I felt like even within myself, I could feel that, but I could feel it in the world, and I could feel it in social media, and I could feel it in the entrepreneurial world. I could feel it in the performing world, and artists, and in politics, and where we are in the world. We're in a sort of like this very precarious time, and I realized, enough of us talking about everything, right? Enough of us really just dumping it all out there, but maybe it's time to actually start listening more. Like maybe it's time to actually start sharing more about what we have experienced and make it okay. Because it didn't seem like there was enough of that. It seemed like it was always augmented. It was always sort of not sugar-coated, but I sugar-coated things, but it wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. It wasn't raw. And I believe in having raw, honest conversations. I believe in saying, this is my, this is what I want to do for the world. I want to create this space. And so Women Are Rising was born from that because I believe we all have stories. Every single one of us has a story. Every single one of us has value. Every single one of us has something to say, something to offer, something to share, something to teach, and something to learn. And we want to learn how to do that collectively. Because for a long time, it's been sort of this pyramid, this hierarchy. And, I don't necessarily feel that hierarchy works anymore because it's not about one person having all the answers. Because I know for a fact I don't have all the answers. And when I have conversations and I listen to other people, I always learn. I always learn about myself. I learn about the other person. I learn about the world. And I actually get to know people and I get to know myself and I get to know the world better by having these conversations. So instead of being a coach, and instead of telling people what I know, instead of giving direction, right, I wanted it to be collaborative. And I wanted it to be something where each one of us has a say. Because I think we each have a say. We each have something to say, and I want to hear it. I want to hear it, and I think the world wants to hear it, and I think we all want to hear one another more. And it's very noisy in the world. It's very chaotic. It's very hard to hear one another sometimes. And so I have created this space for that because I feel like it doesn't exist enough. And each week, we will bring you highly evolved content. We will bring you pure-hearted sharings, honest questions, honest conversation, authentic conversation. And we're starting with women because women, that's what I know, right? I'm starting with what I know, and it will expand from there. This is not a feminist movement. This is a feminine movement. This is about coming together. This is about getting clear on who we are. This is about getting to know ourselves better and getting to know one another better so that we can relate better, so that we can share better, so that we can be more comfortable, we can be more trusting, we can be more embodied and present in the world, and we can value ourselves. It's about all of those things. And so, I call it Women Are Rising because women are rising. It's very true. And I want to focus on that to begin with. But eventually, this expands beyond that. This is not just about women. This is about the world. This is about peace. This is about love. This is about truth. This is about authenticity. And I don't think we have enough of that, nor do I think that we have the tools or the understanding of what that actually looks like. So my goal, my intention with this is to provide us a space to play there, to share there, to be there, to actually be in the midst of that and say, hey, this is my story, and to just be heard. You don't have to have, a massive teaching. You are enough as you are, right? Like you are enough exactly as you are right now. And that is what we want. That's what we want to focus on. That's where we want to be. And that's what we're doing. So I encourage you to participate in these conversations, to ask questions, to share, to be present, and to listen and enjoy and laugh and love and do all the things that we want to do in this world that we're not able to do because something is holding us back. I don't care who you are. Every single one of us has one thing in common, and that is that we are learning how to fully be ourselves in this moment, right? How to be who we are 100% with love. That is a common theme. We all share that theme, and each one of us, it might be something different, right? It might be something different for me than someone else, but we are all learning how to be ourselves. That is a universal truth. That is a common 100% true story. And that's what this is about. It's the coming of age. It's the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. It's how did you get from where you were to where you are? How did you get from, where you've been to where you want to be? And how did that come to be? Because at some point in your life, it did, right? It actually happened. And so if you can't acknowledge it, That's a really interesting thing for you to look at. We're on some sort of quest to reconcile with ourselves, to reconcile with our home, to get home, to be who we are. And it takes time to do that, to go through that, to process that, and to honor that. And so that's why we say, what's your war story, right? Because just like, the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians, they knew about war, right? They knew what that was. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it's everywhere we look, even the Wizard of Oz, it's a battle, right? Dorothy's battling the witch. Alice in Wonderland, she wants to get home. This whole thing is about getting back home for you, right? What's your war story? How did you go from, living where you were to out in the world? Did you fight the battles? What did you fight? Who were your enemies? What did you overcome? What were your struggles? And then how did you get back? Because at the end of the story, Odysseus makes it home. At the end of the story, the heroine, she makes it out of the underworld. She comes back. It's like we always come full circle. And so we're looking at that. We're looking at, how did you go on your journey? And what is your journey? And why is it important? And what can I learn from your journey? And what can you learn from mine? Because that's the art of storytelling. That's the art of, sharing in a circle, like a round table, right? All of our experiences matter. All of our stories matter. What's reflected in me is reflected in you, and we can help each other. So we're looking at that. We're looking at, maybe you can teach me something about your battle that helps me with mine, and vice versa. And that's why I named it, Women Are Rising. What's your war story? Because I really, truly do believe the heroine's journey, the hero's journey, it doesn't matter who you are. We are all going through this. We are all going through this, and we are all on that quest. Every single one of us is Odysseus. Every single one of us is that hero, that heroine that's like reclaiming themselves and making it back home and overcoming something. And that's coming of age. That's a true story. That's a natural story. And I think we get to celebrate that. I think we deserve to own that, because what I found through the years of, I didn't mention that I've also been coaching, and I've created a system to work with this, right? I didn't mention that part. I just talked about the voiceovers and the acting and, all of these other things that I've done studying NLP, is that by honoring our story, by sharing our story, by living our story fully and accepting our story, it actually liberates us from our story. We become so much more real and truthful and embodied as a result of sharing our story. And that's why I've created this space, because I don't see enough of that. We're so busy trying to change the story, to make peace, to do whatever, to heal it and to cover it and to change it and to become something else. I would ask you, what's wrong with just being who you are? Like, what happened to that? What happened to just being complete and loving yourself now, loving your story? Because we can change the story, yeah, but here's another idea. What if we just share the story? What if we tell the story? And by telling the story, all of that stuff that we thought we needed to change or we needed to hide or we needed to cover up comes to the surface, comes to the light, and we see how beautiful it is. And we see how amazing it is and how strong it makes us and how authentic it makes us and how truthful and how incredible it is. And that's the purpose of this. Women Are Rising is about that, is about telling your story. And this is not a one-sided conversation. This is a roundtable. This is interactive as we can make it. Because I know and I believe that that's what we need now. We need interaction. We need to share with one another. We need to be listening more and sharing more and just saying, this is who I am. And it's okay. And it's more than okay. And so as we share our stories, it not only liberates us, but it actually makes us the hero or the heroine. That's how you triumph, right? That's how you become this incredible version of yourself, because you rise, right? You rise out of the ashes. You rise from the bottom of the sea. You return from Oz to reality. You come back from Wonderland. You slay the dragon. Whatever it is for you, you get to do that in this life. And I want you to do that. And I want to create the avenues to do that. And so that's what you're in store for if you choose to join us on this journey of Women Are Rising. It is so powerful and so magical to witness and to share and to be a part of this. I could not do this alone. I could not do this without other people. And I wouldn't do it without you. So I do thank you for checking this out. I do encourage you to join the conversation, to comment, to share, to let us know, how this is affecting you and how it's helping you. And what is your story? Like, what does this mean to you? Because so far, it's been very much of compartmentalized. And it hasn't been enough round table. It hasn't been enough circle. It hasn't been enough, and it annoys people to say, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. But you know what? When we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, we know we're not alone, right? And when we all hold hands and we sing Kumbaya, we have someone to lean on. And we have someone to mirror back how beautiful we are. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in sharing the journey. There's no shame in sharing your story, in sharing your pain, and sharing your feelings and your emotions. Like, I want you to do that. I want you to know that it's safe. And I want you to know that not only is it safe, but it's incredible. Because for so long, we haven't had that. We haven't had the ability to do that. It was wrong. You're not supposed to ask for support. You're not supposed to lean on other people. You're not supposed to tell anybody what you've gone through. Keep that to yourself, right? Because that makes you crazy. That makes you unlikable, might make you unlovable, damaged, broken, whatever. Now's not the time for that. And that's not what we're doing at Women Are Rising. Women Are Rising, like I said, war. What's your war story? Like, why are you here? What are you fighting for? And it's okay to fight for yourself. It's so okay. It's so okay. And that's why I started this, because I never heard anyone tell me that. You want to know what? It's okay to fight for yourself. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to have a story and share it. It's okay to speak what you're feeling. It's okay. You're not going to be judged. You're not going to be thrown to the wolves. You're not going to have people throw tomatoes at you. Like, so often, that's what we face. That's where we've come from. It's true. It's reality. It's very, very real that we've had to overcome that. And I know I'm not the only one who can still feel that in her bones. That fear of like, oh my God, if I tell them who I really am, they're going to hate me. Or if I say the truth, they're going to kill me, or they're going to like throw stuff at me, or they're going to like call me and I'm insane, and they're going to lock me away. They're going to like hide me somewhere. They're going to tear me up. I know that feeling, and I know so many people feel that way, and I want to acknowledge it. And I want to say to you, what's your war story? You are rising. I am rising. We are rising, right? Women are rising. Men are rising. The feminine is rising. And it's becoming visible. It's becoming safe. It's becoming real. It's becoming natural. It's becoming a part of us again. And that was why I created this, because there wasn't enough of that. And I didn't want to do it alone, because what fun is that? And I can't do it alone, because I need your stories. I need your participation. I need your soul. I need your heart. I need your love. I need your listening, your participation, because together we're going to do this. This is a we movement. And whether at some point you share your story, or you let us know how it affected you, or you reach out to somebody you heard talk and say, wow, thank you so much, all of that matters. Every single thing matters. And you matter, and I matter, and we matter, and Women Are Rising matters. And I'm just so grateful that you are here on this journey. Please know that this exists because it matters. It exists because it's time for us to have the means to tell our stories and to be safe in doing so, to be loved in doing so, to be free from shame, to be free from fear, to be free from doubt, to be free from all of those things that have held us back for so long. We don't need that anymore. What we need is to tell our stories and to rise. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the very first episode of Women Are Rising. I am so honored and grateful to have you here, and I look forward to continuing this conversation with you at womenarerising.org and sharing in the tools and sharing in all of the massive, massive amounts of healing and information we can do just by coming together. And I look forward to it. I look forward to getting to know you and to hearing your voices and hearing your stories and witnessing the rising within you. Thank you so much for listening and joining us for Women Are Rising with Katie Kozlowski. If you love the conversation and you want to join us for more, come check us out at womenarerising.org and jump on our mailing list, grab yourself a free meditation, and join the Women Are Rising family. We can't wait to hear your war story at womenarerising.org.